rest of us permission to record and to share the screen.
You got it.
No, I don't.
Allowed to record multiple files.
No.
You're there. I promise.
Okay. Now, finally. Yeah.
I promise. It's there.
Yeah.
And never could share. Can you share? We're going to be sharing today.
We should be sharing. Yeah.
We're really punchy already.
All right. You all ready to start this thing? Here it comes.
Have been for a while.
Remember when you showed up and we were all already here?
Shade thrown.
Welcome to Everyone Racers,
a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing
and oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of Limit Champ or Lucky Track Dog League you run.
SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate.
As long as you drive it hard and build it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussions,
tips and tricks, as well as news and notes
from the world of amateur endurance racing.
And whether it's on the spot, hello sweet when we're lucky enough, and Chrissy.
And I give you just the tip.
We're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less.
Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mental.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah, it is. Wow.
Hey, and we are everyone.
Yes, for once, Jeff doesn't screw up.
Yeah. Sorry, off my game.
Come on.
Welcome to a Catherham episode of our podcast. It's episode 270. The Lotus 7-base Catherham 270 is the entry-level option from the bespoke maker. Powered by a 1.6 Ford Sigma, making 135 horsepower, it will propel the bare-bones two-seater to 60 in 5 seconds. If you're not ringing out your tiny, incredibly dangerous, incredibly cool car, or another car at all, really, add night lightness with our bingo card. It'll add lightness to your brain.
Pretty much.
That's cool.
Chris,
don't you own sort of one of them?
Yeah, let's not talk about that. My microphone.
The microphone's broken.
Went to.
Yes, we do have a Lotus. It is a wonderful shelf. It is on the side of the house in the garage.
Great storage.
It's a great storage. It's got different shelving unit. It levels. Yeah.
So if you're feeling bad about being a bit of a hoarder in your garage, like me or Jeff, the most organized people we know also have a slight bit of it. So you're perfectly normal. Don't feel bad.
Kids don't change. Anyway, what's everybody working on? Who's starting? Chrissy.
Okay. I was traveling with old people.
Oh.
Yeah, it was great.
She said as she shares a screen with old people.
No. 93 and a lady with a broken ankle. So it was exciting. It was Friday was like the longest day of my life, but that's okay. I flew from Philly to Boston and then Boston to West Palm with a hour plus delay sitting in the airplane, which is always fun. But I had really good experience with Delta actually. So I have to give them props because they really stepped up. So they were very helpful with old people. And this plane, it's funny when you go from Boston to West Palm, you end up with a whole bunch of old people.
Yes.
So it's kind
of the old people flight.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
That's the opposite of any Midwest town to Orlando.
Yeah. Yes. And we had other people that we cheered each other on, the supporters, the you're traveling with old people too kind of people. We cheered each other on. It was really great.
You found your people.
We did.
The chin up head nod.
No, this was, you're doing great. We were way over the top.
You can do it.
That's basically what we were doing to each other. We're like, you got this. This is great. Yeah. Go you. Yes. So then Chris, then we had a couple days in Florida. So we had a lot of, when you move into an apartment and it's furnished, but then you don't have all of the other things you don't have, right? So like a tiny, bathroom trash cans or a wine opener. Wah, 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 wah.
Is there a new place in Florida? Because they've stayed at this. I thought they owned a place there.
And it's the same building every year. They've got a different unit. So.
Oh, okay.
So we had to do a lot of shopping, and since they are not moving well, we had to go. We just did a lot of stocking up of things. So a lot of shopping, some beach time. So found a whole lot of shells. Yeah, it was okay.
One of my students wears a puka shell necklace,
Yes.
and I'm always like, is that back? Is that like in style? Do I need to like go find it? Like, I don't know.
I always
think so.
remember that the Smirnoff iced tea rap battle between East and West Coast. Don't make me take off my puka shell necklace.
Mental, what are you up to?
Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, you said Jeff? I thought you said mental.
No, yeah, I thought you were about to say something just in general.
I'm sure
I was, but it wasn't worth it. So just keep
Okay.
moving.
In preparation for A, the 25 hours of Thunderhill, and B, just getting the RV ready to sell, I had to go put new tires on the RV. If you remember a few months ago, I had a safety thing of how the tires were literally so old they were splitting. So I did that.
A shame.
And then, well, they had
Tires
plenty of
wear
tread.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tires wear out. And then I am preparing to leave for NOLA tomorrow. More on that in a minute.
Okay.
And then we'll be spending the holiday in Atlanta. So the next time you listen to this podcast, I'll be on the same time zone as all the
Okay.
Whoa.
people on my screen.
Super.
And I debated whether or not I want to talk about this, but I have Mercedes woes.
Yeah.
The mighty 6.3 was stumbling a bit at idle. So I put new air filters in there. Props to Chris, because I knew exactly when the old ones were changed out. They were changed out in November of 2018 when the car had 132,000 miles on it, because he marked them. So I put in new ones, and then I cleaned the mass airflow sensors on both sides, and went to take it for a run around the block to get the cleaner out of the mass airflow sensors and just see if it helped itself. And it initially seemed to, and then it began to really stumble between 1,000 and 2,000 RPMs. Did not want to wind up, didn't want to do anything. Started dying at stoplights. Got a check engine light that said if the left bank was running lean at idle. Reset it, took it for another run around the block, and halfway through got to another check engine light. Everything went bad on the car. It felt like it was running on half power, and I had 15 check engine codes, including running lean on both banks, running lean on both banks at idle, and all 8 cylinders have a misfire. It feels like something let loose inside the engine.
No way.
It's got an
No, it's electronic.
It's got an appointment on the 29th.
Yeah, I think it's a fuel pump. Even though that fuel pump is fairly new, actually, I think it was part of a recall, because if it's not getting any fuel, it's running lean, because it's going to run lean if it's not getting enough fuel. And it got worse enough to the point it can't even feed all the injectors. So I think it's a fuel pump.
You have, even if it's not, you have filled me with such hope, because I have been, I'm legitimately not kidding. At work the other day, I'm just kind of sitting there moping through CarMax, and somebody's like, because I'm usually looking at car stuff at work. They're like, what's going on, Mental? You seem a little upset. I'm like, I think my Mercedes is terminal. I'm never gonna find another.
Not fast
one.
like a car. It went downhill too quickly to be something that's not.
And it's been cared for, not as well by me as it was previously, but 180,000 miles. I was prepared to accept that, but I'm really happy I said this now, because my Thanksgiving is going to be so much happier with the idea that
I mean, as long as it didn't make any like really terrible, awful sounds. Like
no, there was nothing.
Was it like Grodnock? Yeah.
No,
it's not like a timing chain let go or something.
No, and it still ran. I just immediately took it home and shut her down. And I've been riding the scooter to work until I could get it to the mechanic.
Yeah, I think that's a good move.
I think it's a fuel pump.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I was thinking some sort of metering, like it's not getting.
That could be too, but
the crank sensor.
Running lean makes sense everywhere, because if it's getting the run lean codes all around, okay, because it's probably running lean. It's either that or it's got a massive air leak somewhere, which would, again, the air fuel ratio is not correct. Why does it have a massive air leak? I mean, it could be like the intake boot ripped. It's away in the back of the motor.
No, they're solid, and actually those are hard plastic pieces.
No, but underneath all the way below, to the throttle body, which is on the back side of the motor, way down low in a really weird hot spot. It wouldn't surprise you if like you got an intake boot ripped, a lot of unmetered air is getting in, so it's running lean and running poorly because it's not getting enough fuel.
Yeah. I love that thought.
Something along those lines.
Mhm.
So a fuel pressure test and a good like once over on the intake tract, see what happens.
Well, thank you, Chris. You have reduced my blood pressure and heightened my outlook, because
This is why I'm not European car people.
I know I'm never gonna find a replacement for that car.
No, you're
Thank
not.
you. That is great. So since you have brightened my week, what are you working on, Chris?
I drove a 2-wheel drive Honda CRV through a hurricane, and then I did some
That
shopping.
does not sound as metal as it should be. Like, I drove a 2-wheel CRV through a hurricane.
Well, because it's not anything exciting. It's a gray CRV. Woo. Like,
Why do people in New England own a 2-wheel drive CRV?
because they
winter
live in Florida.
Yeah, they don't drive it
It's
in the
true, I
winter.
guess.
Right. So why do you
Duh.
don't need the 4-wheel drive? If you are never anywhere near anything slippery, who cares? Get the 2
Yeah.
miles per gallon better and save yourself the $2,000. Like, really, why bother? Yeah, that's about it. Actually, I did work on the Mazda some though. The Mazda is down. I have repaired all of the post-season things. It's all set to go, except it needs a whole new exhaust. I am currently waiting for the header to come because we need to delete the close coupled cat. There's no kind of easy way around it except just getting a header. So, and there are only a few companies that make headers for Mazda 3s. You know, it's really not like the biggest performance thing, especially because the header deletes the cat if it becomes not street legal and all those things. So anyway, the header's on the way. And once it's here, I'm going to make another exhaust from scratch. And this one will not rub on the rear subframe all of the time.
That sounds
guys.
great.
Well, give a shout out to the company. Did you find a company?
Small local, not local, but a small business called MSDS out of California. They do a lot of Porsche exhaust and things too, but they make Mazda 3 headers. Okay. The guy was very nice to deal with. Quick and easy. They did end up though, there was a little shipping snafu. Someone shipped me someone else's air intake, and someone else in Georgia, a guy named Jeff, has my header. But
That's me. Jeff. I got that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, perfect. I am shipping Jeff in Smyrna, Georgia, his air intake.
I mean,
you were my header.
You were a little concerned. Not you were concerned. Not even
when we got home, and when I knew I had the delivery was here, and there was not a header size box here.
Yeah. A little box this big. You're like, that's not it.
It's light. It's not a header.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
as we've talked about, the Mazda 3 is going to be kind of like the go-to entry-level endurance racing car
someday.
Wins.
So not even after it wins, just because they're abundant, they're cheap for people that are just starting out. There's lots of parts for them. There's lots of upgrades. We've talked about this. So hopefully, hashtag this company should totally sponsor us.
Yeah, Racing Beat, get on it.
That's not Racing Beat. The little tiny
MSDS place called MSDS.
MSDS.
Hey, we'll see
good,
once it comes here.
Props.
Yep. And I'm gonna put a coat of ceramic on from our favorite ceramist. Some down in the basement.
Stay away
still.
from Jar 2. Jar 2 is very dangerous.
Do not taunt Jar 2.
And don't smell it either.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, is it my turn?
But if you do smell Jar 2, call the 1-800 number on the side so that Bill can go, yeah, there's nothing we can do for you.
And there's also there's also nothing on that jar. So it just says 1 and 2. Or A and B. No, they say A, B, and MEK.
Yeah,
they were.
We don't have. Yeah.
So I just making fun.
Tell you.
Okay. So what did I do? I also was in the tropical depression, because by the time I got here, it was only a tropical depression, except I was walking through Manhattan through the tropical depression, which is not a great place to be. But my son loves Broadway, so we went to a show. It was great. I got home and it got like a cold snap. And like 2 years ago, Chris was like, you got to check this out, Jeff. It's a Nest thermostat. This is the greatest thing on the planet. And I was like, hey, whatever. I'm not spending $200 on a thermostat. I got a $20 thermostat. Like a year ago, my gas company sent me one and said, put this in your house. It's better. So
Seriously?
for like $10. and it's been sitting on the shelf since. My thermostat broke. I put the Nest in. Why didn't I do this before? It's amazing. I love
You don't listen to your friends.
Hi. You know, it was great. We got off the plane yet. It was yesterday. Oh God, it was yesterday. It seems so long ago. And it was icy and raining hard and so cold. As soon as the plane landed, I was like, let's turn on the heat. So then it's nice and toasty when we got home. Yeah.
And then we turned on the heated bathroom floor separately. Also,
Yeah, see, I don't have that.
Or you at night when you wanted a little colder, so you're under the blankets, it automatically adjusts all that kind of stuff.
Well, we had
And
a
it comes
timer
on-
anyway. It timed
Comes on
anyway,
at 5 o'clock when I get up.
Did your old thermostat have a timer, Jeff?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Did you use it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right.
We had multiple, like every day it does different things because my wife sometimes she goes to work, sometimes she doesn't. You know, like
Yeah, this is just a lot easier to program. Anyway,
are you kidding? My wife has a smart like washer or a clothes washer and dryer. She's like at work going, "Are you doing laundry?" I'm like, "Yes." So she's all about it.
She shouldn't. She shouldn't.
moving your
give-
mic, Jeff.
Yeah. Also,
Sorry.
it's getting old.
I hit it once and now I'm trying to get it away from my face again. So anyway, yeah, and I also sold the Z.
Yay!
So we'll go really quickly. Bazinga
Condolences, Bazinga.
No, they need
Well,
the parts.
They need the parts, exactly. So I traveled about an hour, 45 minutes north of here, delivered the Z, got some cold hard cash slapped in my hands. It turns out one of the Bazinga guy lives like 3 miles from me, but he's not the guy with the garage. So he came over, he checked it out, sent some pictures. They said, we'll take it. They want the cage and the slick top. The rest is not really useful to them. So yeah, I stripped off every part that might have some saleable options for us. So I'm going to do some posting of those kinds of things. And I got some cold hard cash in my hands. And interestingly, we went up there and guys building a plane.
Okay.
In his garage.
I have
Yeah,
shop envy of that guy's shop.
Yeah,
That's
his shop was
totally-
great.
Yeah. Also, Bazinga, should you need to make room for that airplane by getting rid of that Formula V, hi, I'm mental. Get a hold of me.
The Formula V was not
aggressively looking for a Formula V.
was not owned by the guy who owned the shop. So sadly, that's not helpful.
But if he wants to get rid of it,
Here's a question. Let's say you're building a small little 2-seat plane and it's held together with rivets. How many rivets does it take? I asked the question and I got, well, they only sell them by the gallon in gallon jugs, and they sell me like 30 different sizes. And every time a box shows up, it's several gallons of rivets. And I said, what, we're talking like 20,000? He says, oh, no. They say at the beginning that it's about 60,000 rivets.
Yep.
cool.
I guess hopefully he has the automatic riv nut gun, which
He
or riv
does not, because of their flushness. They need to be hand bucked and
No.
hammered.
No.
He
That's how you
said,
build airplanes.
yeah, he said, my
No.
wife is a saint because a lot of times I have to call her out to hold the backing plate while I hammer on the front.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it is a shame. Yep, that
Mhm,
sounds
mhm,
like
mhm.
it's really bad.
Yep.
Well, at least it's out
Great.
of your place, and that
Yep.
is wonderful.
That is wonderful. Yep, absolutely.
Wonderful.
And I'm glad someone's going to use some of those parts because that cage did fit the car quite
Yeah.
well,
They're excited.
among other things. Good.
Good.
They are also LS swapping with Z32. So
Great.
You
Well,
inspired them.
yeah, we probably
no, Nissan's engineers inspired them because
Yeah. It doesn't take
Yeah.
much.
no, and it's amazing. Now we know.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
news and notes time.
Ryan Silvestro at Road and Track tells us of the passing of an underrated legend. As you hear this, yesterday, the final Acura NSX rolled off the Ohio production line. The hybrid supercar featured 3 electric motors as well as a twin-turbo V6. Over 6 years, Honda sold 2,900 examples worldwide. The final car was one of the 350 Type S models introduced last year. The Acura Performance Manufacturing Center in Marysville, Ohio, will now shift to limited production to Acura TLX Type S PMC, that's Performance Manufacturing Center edition, available in 3 optional NSX-derived colors. There's a red and a white and a blue. The factory is going to build 100 examples of each car in each shade. Brian rated the rumor that Honda might bring back its mid-engine supercar as a purely electric vehicle. Yeah, Honda's basically said that, essentially, that's what's going to happen, and that they're also going to make another sporty car in the meantime as well. So
I
looking forward to
didn't
it.
realize the current generation of NSX was made in Ohio.
Everyone.
Not not yours. Yours was
No,
made in
ours is
Japan,
made
right?
in.
No, this is the second gen, as they would
Yeah.
call it. Yeah.
Ours is made in Suzuka.
Very good.
Very
Yep.
good.
Is it on your list? Do you want one?
If you've driven one, the answer is yes.
Well,
It-
I
it
don't know.
doesn't-
It's different.
No, it doesn't have a roof that comes off, and our fun car usually have something that has a roof that comes off. So if I
Got it.
didn't, then sure, because yeah, it's like it's a Honda and it's a supercar and it works and it looks great and it drives wonderfully and there you go. So sure, but I wanted something with a roof that comes off.
Got it. On the electric front, Tesla has finally opened up its charger connection design, read that there, the design to other EV makers. They're making a bid to become the North American charging standard. Justin Banner at Motor Trend tells us that they are not only releasing their patent claims, but even releasing their charger connection and inlet designs. In a separate release for the NACS, that's the North American Charging Standard, Tesla published the measurements, functional schematics, and specs for what is still considered the best EV charger design on the market. The idea, of course, is to have the Tesla connecting codified as the public standard instead of the other options, which are the J1772 and the combined charging system CCS, which is a 772 with 2 prongs at the bottom. I've been learning all about this because as we approach the potential of electrifying the wife's car, and it's definitely a pain in the ass, and this would be a game changer for a lot of the other manufacturers. So normally I would say no one is ever going to change to the Tesla standard. I think it might happen.
I think they're 2 years too late.
Could be.
There's too many of them that just all got designed, just all got made, just all got in production, where 2 years ago they could have made it actually work before they really ramp stuff up.
But they can make adapters.
But
sure.
and also the adapters and the Tesla network is still by and large
1,000 times better.
So much bigger than everybody else's.
Yeah. And they work, which is what doesn't happen with a lot of the other charger networks.
Which we did get some listener feedback, which is not on here, by the way. Jeff, if you unplug someone's Tesla, the alarm goes off.
Well, I don't plan on unplugging anybody's Tesla.
Unless it's on fire. The Toyota Prius is known for looking unique, if not a bit homely. Today, a host of auto media outlets are showing a very different Prius for 2023, citing the styling from Tesla, Hyundai, and Kia as motivations for a better looking car. The 5th generation of the most successful hybrid is ready to retake the throne, is according to Owen Bellawood at Jalopnik. It will be available as a plug-in hybrid as well as its normal hybrid setup. The plug-in version will be available with a 2-liter internal combustion at 2-liter internal combustion, and when it is combined with electric motors, offers 220 horsepower and 0 to 60 in 6.7 seconds. Of course, a new interior, screens, and a host of other fantastic features, including parking assist, front rear cameras, and in-vehicle driving recorder. All kinds of fun things.
I love the way this looks.
I do
Yeah,
not.
it's a good looking car.
If we'll indulge our
Looks like an egg.
kind folks who are watching
it's-
there.
It's got some actual style without being totally overwrought, like
I mean, okay.
many current Hyundais, which let's just put a line in the side because
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
right,
Yeah,
Swoopy
yeah.
line.
right. Where this is,
Right.
it's got something, and the Prius has always been designed with aerodynamics as a really important part of what they did. But this time they just made it look a little nicer.
Well, and I think that the all electrics have created a design language because they don't need a grill. And I think that it is creating a new look. It's the form, the function of whatever, the follow is function, the follow, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. The form is following the function because the function is I don't need a grill and I need to be slipperier, but I still need to meet crash standards. So I'm going to have a hood, because they can't make them pointy arrows. So it's still going to have a hood. They're still going to have a grill space, but since I don't need slats, like look at a Mustang Mach-E, it's a big grill that's absolutely closed. So I think it's following that design ethos, and I like it.
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
Great.
We've all looked at race cars and thought, sure, but I'd have to sell my house to buy that race car. Well, what if your race car came with a house and a track membership? It's all of our dreams. Well, as always, Racing Junk has you covered for just $505,000. You can get all that. It is a 3-bedroom new home on half an acre with a 3-car garage, and it is just 2 miles from the track. It includes a 2016 BMW 235i and a membership to Spring Mountain Motorsports Ranch in Pahrump. Give the governor a Pahrump, Nevada. Just over the mountain from Mental. Mental, you have been on this track, correct?
I have instructed. There are currently 32 configurations, but this month they are opening another chunk of the track. So it's going to have like almost 50 different configurations.
Nice.
That's a lot.
Click over to some of those pictures. Let's see what this house looks like.
Oh, the house? Yes. There's
It's only it's only the front of it, so there's not. It's just kind of.
They don't show much of the house here.
Just kind of.
It's a very.
It's a modest house.
It's
beige. It's a lovely house.
Yeah,
Everything in the desert is beige because otherwise it gets dirty. And then this is the country club.
Yeah, earth tones is earth tones, right? That's all you get.
The planes. I don't know why there are planes there, but yeah, that's and then this is just an idea of how many different configurations. And this is when the track was still under construction. They didn't have the full, but you can just see. And then this is the north track over here, and then they're building another part.
Oh, we just still see the
We
car.
don't see.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get this to work.
Too many monitors.
If you click on the link in our show notes.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody can go look themselves.
Yep. That's
There
a
we
fun
go.
dream there.
But it's a great track.
You got the first one anyways. So just
I
keep on.
know. Right. Champ Car is running the big easy Enduro at NOLA, which is of course at NOLA. There are 33 cars, 7 of them are BMWs. That's appropriate. 11 Miatas, 0 Hondas, 1 Porsche, 5 battle scarred motorsports
very
cars,
good for them.
and a 68 and an 87 Mustang and Dead Pedals Racing Maserati.
Which is why I'm going to NOLA.
Nice. You're
So
going to be
I'll
rocking the
running with-
Maserati
with-
again.
Yeah, absolutely. With Eric and Ian Peterson. Ian Peterson, of course, of the Apex Adjacent podcast, but it's just a great time. They're actually making a whole holiday of it. Ian's bringing his whole family. Eric's bringing his whole family. Yeah.
That's excellent. And will the big spoon be there?
Probably. I well and truly do not know. Yeah. We'll see if his driving seat insert, because the last time I drove with those guys, Ian wasn't there, so we didn't need it.
Oh, got it. Yes. He's a very short fellow who can't reach the pedals without a little buddy sitting behind him.
Well, that and also is the seat is set. I mean, I have to scoot the seat up quite a bit. It's meant for a variety of people, and he can reach the pedals. What he can't do is see over the hood. So.
That's a thing. That's how I felt in the Solstice, but I digress.
Nobody could see at the solstice.
I suppose.
Lucky Dog is wrapping up their season with their famous 1,000 miles of Thunderhill Top Dog Championship. Surprisingly, at Thunderhill. It's their true 1,000-mile Parc Ferme format. The first car in each class, it crosses the line with 1,000 miles. That's 200 laps. Mental forgot to email, so we don't have a car count or anything, but I'm sure it's excellent because it's a great race.
Yep.
It's gonna be fun.
AER is a NJMP Thunderbolt, and 50 cars registered for them.
That's like a
gotta be
record.
like a record.
Cars.
Yeah.
Wow.
What? That's
Yeah,
why we
it's gonna
listed it
be-
here.
It's going to be all of 38 degrees as a high this weekend here in New
Oof.
Jersey. So it's going to be a great time at the
Yikes.
track.
It's okay. They don't
Um,
talk to each other anyway, so it's fine.
That's true. Yeah, they all are going to hide in their hotel rooms. A Mini Cooper, a Neon IS300, 350Z, 2 Volkswagens, 5 Miatas, 1 Honda, 7 Porsches. This is the funny part. Everything else is a BMW.
Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
It's
7, 8,
30.
9,
It's
10,
30.
11, 12.
It's 30. It's 30.
Oh, thank you.
30 BMWs.
Wow.
That's so boring.
Boring.
They have an entire their A class is nothing but PMWs.
Well, their A class is all
Boring.
like whatever they are, 235i, M, Sport, whatever's. And then
Yeah.
they're anyway. Oh, listener feedback time.
All right, on YouTube, the Basaka, we don't know who you are, but thank you, said nobody gives a poop about a patch, and that many dollar signs is fine. New Hampshire is always aggro. People are willing to thrash for 80-second place for some reason. We like our car, but it seems that some people don't mind losing their car.
Well, this is referring to the conversation we had about the Halloween meets gasoline. I agree with I think it was, who was it? Was it Chris who said? No, it was Mental who said they want a patch.
I had gotten feedback from people that said, because one of the things about winning an IOE is
Get that
especially-
patch.
well, especially your Corey Dickmans, your Antons, your he was a guest on the show.
Spanx.
Your Spanx, they show up and they've got their 8 IOE patches, hey, this is someone who kind of gets what the race series is about. And with the Halloween meets gasoline, there was just nothing to delineate, hey, this is where our focus is as a race team. And so I mean, I get that the money is fine, but if you're racing for money, well,
You're in the wrong place. Yeah.
You're in the wrong, all racing for money is a dumb idea. Because you're always going to come up short on that one. But, but someone did also argue that the Halloween meets gasoline being the top award, which is why it pays more, should also come with a free entry, which is what IOE gets you.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Basaka, thanks for chiming in. We don't recognize your YouTube handle. Tell us who you are and what your car is so we know who we're talking to.
Yep.
Thanks.
Especially
Al
if you're
Jones
from
said,
New Hampshire.
I was relieved when Eric called me a good dude. He paused after he said my name. That could have gone a different direction. But as far as Infinity, though, I've always thought of them as bougie Nissans, fancy cars for people who don't really like cars. Kind of like how Maroon 5 is music for people who don't really like music.
Shots fired.
I'm not going to say it shots fired because there is nothing but truth in that entire quote. There is not one false statement out of any of that.
I like that. That's good.
Absolutely.
Oh, thanks for
That's
that.
a hot take, Al. Thanks.
Yep.
Oh, and Chris E said, quote, mental shopping cart story jogged a memory. Most of the shopping cart locking wheels work to a similar wireless dog fence. There's a loop around the parking lot or a central beacon with some range that trips the wheel lock. And I was talking about here in Las Vegas, to keep the urban explorers from going off with the shopping carts, you get to a certain distance and the wheels lock up.
Absolutely. Little thing slides down under the wheel.
Mm-hmm. So Chris continues, in college, a few of my friends got bored one weekend and figured out the signal that the local supermarket used.
This does
and
not
built
surprise me
a
a little bit.
pocket-sized.
This is amazing.
Not at all. And built a pocket-sized transmitter. Then they'd take it out when they went food shopping and quietly turn it on randomly while walking to the store and watch random carts just lock up around them. And this is another 100% true statement. Bored engineers are one, but I will add they are also very, very dangerous.
No, this is so funny. Wow, this is some good listener feedback.
So, this is a funny story, but I got a different one, better one. I heard a story from an electrical engineer that said they would take, and help me out here, people who know more than me. What holds electricity? That is a capacitor, right?
Or a battery.
Yeah.
No. It's like there's a transistor and a capacitor, right? Capacitor.
Yeah, capacitor.
But they would take these capacitors that were the size of shotgun shells and bend the wires like this and stick them in a plug and charge them up and then drop them in urinals.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Are
no.
you what?
That is so terrible. So
Oh.
terrible. Oh,
Wow.
I remember when super shops were a thing. They had those all over the country. And it was where it was a chain of stores to buy performance automotive gear. And they had these wireless distributors, or rather distributorless
Like
systems.
ignition systems. Yeah.
Thank you. And to demonstrate, they would have the wire jumping across the arc jumping across two wires to show how good they were. And they would do that. They would charge up the local ones. When I lived in Georgia, they would charge a capacitor with the two wires and then just literally throw it to someone who would catch it. The two wires would connect and then zap their hand for a second. Not nearly as bad as peeing into a urinal and
Right?
getting the electric fence treatment, but
This is terrible.
It's terrible. Engineers out there, tell us how you
Hence-
hurt each other.
hence my statement that board engineers are also dangerous.
Oh,
Yes,
goodness.
Somewhere out there, Hampsa's like, where are those capacitors? I got them around here somewhere. You know who'll never shock your wiener with electricity?
And is also wonderful.
I'm gonna get heat next time I see her. Chrissy's
Well,
mom,
I mean, you're not wrong.
Chrissy's
but-
sister, all of Chrissy's relatives will not.
Hold up. Now I'm only 70% convinced that Jen, given the opportunity, wouldn't shock a wiener.
Chrissy,
I love her to death, but I'm not right now.
Awkward.
Who in your family is most likely to taser-fy somebody's wiener?
Worst
You
conversation
probably.
I've ever had.
I mean,
I'm
excluding yourself, because we know you
Well,
probably would.
her dad is an electrical engineer. And
That's
grew up
true.
with three daughters.
It's true.
Let's move on.
Main topic time.
Oh, my cheeks hurt.
I hope I'm gonna be able to get through this. So like 30 shows ago, I don't remember. It wasn't that long ago. We said we did a Formula One show, and it was the Formula One preview show. We talked all about the season and how exciting we were, and how it was gonna be Leclerc and Verstappen, and they were gonna fight all season. We were down for it. That did happen. We also said we were going to come back after the season and do a Formula One show. That didn't happen either, because we're not waiting for the end of the season. We're doing it now, and we're doing it live. Yeah, there it is. So if you're out here trying to find out how to build a race car, how to drive better, you can take the week off, because we're going to talk about how to perform at the highest level of motorsports and still look like a jackass. If that's what you're here for, then that's what you're here for, because we're talking F1, baby. Who wants to start us off? You want me to read the first one?
Go for it, Jeff.
You're all staring at me. All right. The season isn't over, but it's over. Red Bull dominated. Mercedes never really got competitive, but then right at the end, right at the end, they did, right?
They're still not competitive.
All right. Well, I mean, Ferrari did everything in their power to screw up every race. I think they stepped on their wiener all the time. How do we feel about the season in general? Anybody have any favorite?
I can go.
Go ahead.
What? Go ahead, Mental.
No, go. You.
Okay.
You. Yeah.
I was also there. I really like having things to watch. We don't have television. So we watch all the practice and all the quali and trying to look on social media to figure out who won. So I like the ideas of having something to watch on the off chance that something will be interesting. There have been bright spots, small, interesting. Oh, that was good. Oh, wow. And then most of it is not been that exciting. I think Max being out front most of the time, there's plenty of races are just like, oh, battle for 7th is amazing, because it wasn't like who was going to win. And it was only like, if if nobody's around him, then he can't be an ass to anybody. So like,
True. And I feel like hopefully, maybe with 2 world championships, his dad might hug him. I doubt it. Though.
No, it's not going to happen. Still
He just
not
won't get
good
his
enough.
wiener shucked.
No, I was
Still not good
I was
enough.
going to add that. You might.
I don't think it's a surprise to anyone because I've said it here many times. I'm a Max Verstappen fan at the beginning of the season. More on that later.
I would like to say that I called him an asshole to start
Sure.
with. I have reinstated to anyone that will listen that he's
I'm
a
right
jerk,
there.
Yeah.
and he just proved it.
Hold
He
that. We're gonna get
is-
to that later. We're
Okay,
gonna get to that
okay,
later.
okay,
Still doing
okay.
main season.
Okay.
I don't want to watch a season where one car dominates either. Like even when it's your guy, you're like,
I mean, it was getting old
come
when,
on, Charles.
right?
Come
I
on.
mean, maybe that's why I'm a Charles fan, because you never know. You're like, you might dominate and you might probably not dominate.
He's going to be really good and his car's going to be almost there. And then they're going to take 12 minutes to change a tire. And
They're
like,
going to ask him which tires he wants, or he's going to be literally the only one in the field with inters on.
oh, that was
Are you
terrible.
You didn't look over at your neighbor and be like, wait, they have softs. Maybe we should go with softs. How can
What?
you screw up? Oh, sorry.
You know who
No,
needs to get.
So, well,
Okay.
talking about, make your joke, Jeff, because I do have.
I was going to say, you know who needs a capacitor in the urinal? Bato, whatever his name is, Maurizio.
I
Mattia.
think
Mattia,
he
thank
might
you.
be getting a capacitor in his pink slip because there is no way
He
that
might
guy
be.
is working Ferrari next year. I'm curious to see the effect this has on Leclerc, because at the start of the season, everyone, even Verstappen, agreed that he had the talent to challenge that and was continuously betrayed. Now in the concept of these, he's a young driver and he places a lot more trust in his team. But I think either he's going to become a lot more outspoken, not quite to the leave me alone, I know what I'm doing, but he might actually start saying like, hey, why am I sitting in this car and everyone else around me has softs on? Someone explain this to me. And
Wouldn't he have been saying that on the radio that we can't hear?
He did, and he got he got a finger in his face after the race by Bada, whatever his name is.
But I think this is going to have an effect on him as a driver, and I think it will either help or hurt him for a good chunk of his career until he develops the level of trust that you see with some of the other team managers with their drivers. He's going to start questioning.
Well, Ferrari has a weird dynamic where there's no clear preference on who's the better driver.
Mm-hmm.
Every other team, there's usually a pretty good idea. Even sometimes it's closer. But even when it was Lewis and Valtteri, like even though Valtteri won a lot, it still was Lewis's.
It's Lewis,
car, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not to the extent where where it's Max and everyone else can go suck it, basically.
Yeah.
On the radio.
Yeah.
Yes.
But,
just tell people.
For
that.
like it's almost like no one's like they're almost like not like afraid to step up, or I know they're not that they're afraid to, but it's just hard. You're missing something in that dynamic. It's like, well, Charles, he was the one they thought, well, you probably will be the guy, but then they're like, well, Carlos is good sometimes too. So I don't know, and then
It's glimpses of hope in both of them. That was the
Yes.
problem.
and then followed by just bobbity boopity and everything falls apart. And,
I would be so upset if I was a Ferrari fan, because it's just they're just like, they're shooting themselves self-inflicted wounds over and over again every time they have a chance. And
The thing is, there is a glimmer of hope, because sometimes the car is good enough to be right there. They get pole. They got a lot of polls. Didn't
They
mean
did.
that they
They
did anything
absolutely
with it. But so that's why it's heartbreak when you're a Ferrari fan, because you have glimmers of hope and you're like, but maybe this race, maybe.
It's a summertime a sheet.
Right. And
Yeah,
that's
basic.
And that's the part that's been intriguing about this year, is that aside from one team, the who is going to be the second, third, fourth, and fifth team of the weekend varied a lot.
yes, go on.
That was really nice to see. Is there was a lot of mixing around, like with the fact that Mercedes went from, oh man, this car sucks, to
Yeah.
Well,
Oh
maybe
man,
they're
this car
gonna.
sucks.
Well, but
Well,
also maybe we're gonna get second in driver
Oh,
in.
I think
in
they're going to get it. I
team
mean,
championship like that. That was unexpected. The fact that Alpine actually looks okay, McLaren kind of crap. Haas has shown moments of brilliance and then moments of Haas. Williams has been
let
mostly Williams.
still Williams.
well, it is Albon who is proven to be a better driver.
Better than
and
DeVries,
that-
but better than
and
excuse me,
then-
better than Latifi.
and
But
Latifi.
DeVries comes in that it shops in a Williams and gets a ninth. Everyone's like, oh, maybe Latifi is that horrible.
Yeah. How do they not
Oh,
know?
We're pretty sure Williams now, and I know we're skipping ahead, but isn't Latifi looking for a job right now? Because
He is.
they've
Yeah,
already
he is.
confirmed.
Oh yeah. I mean, who is going to pay him to
I
get
mean,
back
the
in a
airport
car?
shuttle near here is gonna.
What Chris and I say, we might be better drivers. I was like, Chris was like, I think you could get in the Williams, and I was like, I know we can't get into Williams.
No,
We're just
no
saying,
chance.
but like the fact that how bad he is that we probably could get in and do a little bit better.
Just need a
I
super
don't-
license.
I don't know if this is the place to do it, but we talked about our picks of who we thought were going to be good.
Yes, we did.
Okay,
It's all wrong.
it's all wrong because and I
Nope. Because I said Checo.
It's
that-
not a
that-
bad choice.
that time that you thought you bet on Checo and it was Ocon.
Oh yeah, that was
That's
terrible.
That's a little
that
different.
time.
In my defense, I had been drinking, but I meant to
How
bet
about
Checo.
that guy?
I'm pretty sure I said Red Bull and Max was going to win again.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
But I
said-
also said Haas is not going to be terrible, and he'll probably be sixth in the standings.
And I think I said something along the lines of Perez was going to surprise everybody, but I don't think he surprised anybody. I think everyone agreed Perez has yet, and I will say this, Perez has yet to have a car to his talents, because they built they're setting those cars up for Verstappen the same way that Mercedes is set up for Hamilton, which says a lot about Russell, about his ability.
I
to
don't know.
drive.
I think they had the right Red Bull under Checo in the beginning of the season
But
when he was beating Max.
But Checo has demonstrated repeatedly through his career the ability to get into a car that is not his and be a threat.
And be
And
good
so-
for tires.
because he just, and I don't want to say this in a negative aspect. I say this in a positive aspect. Dude doesn't care. His career was supposed to be over almost 3 years ago.
Yeah. Mhm.
He was going to retire, and he's like, you know what? Every day after this, bonus, which is why he's the only Red Bull number 2 driver in the history of Red Bull to get a 2-year contract.
Because when you're the best support guy in the field, you give him a longer contract. Anyway,
And
what else do we
everyone
want to
loves
say?
him. Everyone loves him. Nobody complains about Perez. Nobody
No,
hates Perez.
That's true. I will say that the theory on the cars this year was proven effective. They are much better at following than they were last year. So yes, they've given them a new set of artificial problems to solve, but it has made for closer racing. It has made for better close battles. Like used to be, you couldn't see anyone really close to each other for more than a couple laps where tires would go. But this year, you've seen people on each other's gearboxes for half the race practically.
And it has made DRS unstoppable.
Unless
It does good things. I mean, it does what DRS is.
I'm not saying that's
do.
a bad thing, but I'm saying that it used to be DRS gave you a shot. DRS now makes you able to pass.
It's
pretty
not in
closely.
every car. It depends on the car. Like for example, Lewis had it on Gasly for like a half of a race. He was right behind him, but the Merc was in a high drag setup, and the AlphaTauri was in a low drag
Was in
setup.
the low
and he just
drag setup,
couldn't
yeah.
get it past it.
That's no, I'm with Chris on that one, because I think all the engineers knowing that DRS was going to be, one of those, sure things, they've set their cars up to especially everyone running in the back, the back markers of the field. Yeah, it has come down because DRS has not been the guarantee of a pass in several races.
Yeah. I think it is much more powerful than it used to be.
You're
because
closer
the
when you
closest,
start
yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Anybody else got some overalls? Because we're gonna keep moving on. Oh, go ahead.
What
Chrissy.
I was going to say a while ago, and y'all were having too much going on. My pick for this year, the underdog was Gasly. He has done nothing, but
Except get
nothing,
penalty points.
nothing.
Yeah, he
So-
like almost might lose his license, right? He's like lost not just points on the championship,
like
but he's
really
lost
bad.
like super license points, right?
Yeah. Like
Did-
he's about to get suspended. Some of those
He's-
are a little questionable, but still, like, yeah.
Yes. So now I was wrong. So there's that.
On my one of my Formula One podcasts with those Indian guys who cracked me up so much, they said he should have intentionally crashed into somebody in Sao Paulo, so that way he would serve his penalty, his suspension in Abu Dhabi this season and start clean next season. Because after you serve your penalty, your license points are wiped away.
Your penalty points, you mean? Yeah.
Penalty points, yes. So
Yep.
anyway,
Too late now.
yes.
I don't know.
Anyway.
There's an American driver out of Florida who's thinking this is all probably a good thing for him.
Man, we're gonna get there too. Let's talk silly season. Here it is. Silly season was as silly can be. It was as silly as 10 eels in a clown
Now,
shoe. Oh, go ahead.
These are all wonderful alliterations.
Yes.
Define for our less Formula One motivated audiences what silly season is.
Sure. So silly season is the term that is used for usually right around the summer break, when all of the teams fire or hire or announce their contracts for the next season. See, because it's not like they can wait until the off season to make their announcements or to sign their drivers. So a lot of times in Formula One, you already know you've been booted, or you already know that you're going to be driving for that other team, and you still have a chunk of the season to go. Hence the term silly season. So here, I'll wrap it up in a little quick. Seb retired, my favorite driver. Fernando Alonso is signed. And then Alpine says they promoted Piastri. He denies it. It turns out everybody's contract belongs to McLaren. Daniel Ricciardo somehow is like the musical chairs. The music stops and he doesn't have a seat. Colton Herta isn't a good enough driver to have a super license.
Which is political crap.
Bullshit. Nick DeVries, an American. Logan Sargent will have rides next year. Surprising. Nico Hulkenberg actually got signed. Just heard about his signing between the time I wrote this. So he is now full-time in. A lot of driver changes.
Confirmed?
That did get confirmed. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
So how do we feel about all the driver changes and the driver snafus?
I mean, the back and forth of was it Piastri?
Piastri gate.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, figure out what the real news are. Like, just figure it out.
Yeah.
Put
For
it
those
out.
who weren't watching, why don't you summarize briefly? I mean, I said briefly, but you know.
They said that he was signed, and then he said, "No, I'm not." And then they were like, "He's not." And these are the like F1,
like the
official
team Twitters. Yeah, the
Yeah.
official Twitters.
Oh no, I was looking at the the official picture that says this guy now signed with him, and then they were coming out every other day.
Yeah.
So this was right on time with everybody to say what was happening, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, "So, but what's real here? What is he really not?" So I didn't see the Twitters on there, but
Yeah.
and then Albon said, "I'm still with Williams. Thanks."
We should mention that all this is going back and forth on Twitter, and people are saying I'm there, I'm not there, I'm there, I'm not there. It turns out they had waited too long to sign a contract, so he was in a window, and McLaren stole Oscar Piastri to a multi-year deal. But Oscar had been a development driver for Alpine for years. So they had done poured a lot of money into his career to get him to Formula One. And they forgot to sign on the dotted line.
Yep. I think Alonso and Stroll are going to butt heads. I think Alonso has way too big an ego to kowtow to daddy's boy who will never lose his seat. And that's going to be tough. And the little incident they had a couple of races ago.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
It will be so good.
And Alonso is not good at playing team things and team pop. Nope. He's a bit of a dick by everything.
I'm going to drive the car and I'm going to drive it well.
Yeah. And that's going to be a challenge, I think, when
I believe he's the second most hated person in F1, right? Second most hated driver, I should say.
Of current drivers, you probably. Yeah, no, Mazepin's gone. And
I mean, Latifi might be there. I mean, Latifi as a person might be fine.
Yeah,
but
everyone just is like, that's sorry, Nikki.
Alonso does not hold his tongue. He is going to say whatever he wants to say, and it doesn't matter who signs his paycheck. If Stroll pisses him off, he's going to say it.
Mm-hmm.
There, he has 0 Fs given anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which it leads us into an interesting thing. So Chris touched on this before, and I'll let you talk about Ricardo because I'm in 100% agreement with you about that. But while we're talking about, Fernando and we're talking about Sebastian Vettel, when Vettel came back, there was nothing in it for him other than I get to drive. He came back just because he likes racing.
And he's a nice guy. Like, he just genuinely is a nice person.
I mean, that's why I posted this little thing about it right in here.
That. And so Chrissy posted, and you can find the meme yourself, and I'm quoting from the meme. People can remember how many races and championships I've won, but I'd rather be remembered that I've just been kind, attentive, and just me. And this entire season, he has been exactly that, just himself. And I think you're going to see that same kind of freedom coming out of Fernando, but a lot more negative, just because there's nothing to be gained. It's not like he needs the money. It's not like he's going to win another world championship with that team. He's just there because he likes racing, and having that kind of certainty about your future frees you up to just be a lot more honest. And he won't be as nice as Sebastian Vettel because everybody likes Sebastian Vettel. But I think it's going to be really interesting having one of the old heads saying, well, that was effing stupid because F, Y, and Z.
Alonso is also not going to coach at all. Like, what is his right?
Yeah.
Is he going to like help?
Well, they're just going to look at his data.
Better?
Of course they're going to share his data. They're not
sure.
He's not going to have any way around that. But I don't think he's going to be telling like, what line do you take around turn 3? I don't think he's going to be doing any of that.
He's going to be like, hey, that girl you were looking at, yeah, I totally boned her.
Yeah.
Isn't that Ricardo? Doesn't Ricardo do that? Never mind.
Right.
Oh, speaking of Danny Rick,
Ricardo,
that's just sad.
When we all fell in love with Ricardo, and we all loved Ricardo was a lot more like Sebastian Vettel. Just, this is awesome. I get to be in Formula One. I'm having fun. This is great.
Yeah.
And
he almost had the Tim Burr attitude of race cars. Yay, race cars.
Not this year, though.
Right?
No.
Not this year.
He lost his mojo. He just lost his mojo, whatever the case may be. He couldn't find it with Renault. He couldn't find it with McLaren. And it's like, he's like someone stepped on his puppy half the time. And I don't know what it is. Like, is it the car? Is it him? Is it just, he had his time with Red Bull that he was on doing pretty well, but that was it. I don't know.
He doesn't know
either.
He used to race to go fast, and then it feels like he almost started racing to not lose.
And then he just kept losing. He just kept losing.
He's trying to force it. So here's the question. Should he have gone somewhere else? Should he
instead of Renault?
No, because he's development driver. Should he have changed cars, changed venues, come to NASCAR. I mean, he loves America. You know, he could have signed a multi-million-dollar deal to sit in a jelly bean and go around in circles.
I didn't think Nico Hulkenberg was ever going to get another shot, but there he is getting another shot. I don't think it's going to be a great seat if Ricardo ever gets back on the grid. You know, he's going to have to dominate in some reserve roles for anyone to really consider him.
But that's what I'm saying. Should he have, to get his mojo back, gone to a different atmosphere?
I don't know if being in a back marker, like being in a Haas, is he going to do any better? And
no, I meant out of F1. Should he have gone to NASCAR? Should he have gone to
and I'm not saying
sports cars?
You'll absolutely see him running sports cars again because the guy is a talented driver.
He should go find Grosjean. He's doing what, open wheel?
He could have done Indy.
Yeah,
but he can't because he's the reserve driver, so he has to travel with the circus.
But he'll never be a threat in Formula One again.
Nope, it's the kind of thing where if he gets in the points again, everyone's like, "Oh, isn't that nice?"
Yeah,
oh, look at that.
But it's 1 or 2, and then it's magic, or the whole half of the field is gone. There was that one race a couple races ago, but there was like 11 cars finished or something like that. So that's about the only time that he can get up that high.
If he could go to a series or an event or a team where, you know, there are lots of venues of racing where winning isn't the only thing. And just being this larger than life personality, which is what he's good at, he would excel. He would do great at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. He really would be hilarious in NASCAR.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, and he could just get back to being Daniel Ricciardo, the big smiley happy guy that everyone just loves.
What I would have done if I was him.
Bummer.
Anyway, anyone have any other thoughts on racers, where we're going to be? I mean, American driver, does anybody care?
Oh no, I was just looking through the link that you sent on Motorsports. Ocon and Gasly. How is that gonna go?
Oh, they're gonna have baguette fights.
I can't believe somebody thought that was gonna be okay.
No, you're an asshole.
Right? Merde. I can't believe somebody thought this was a good idea. Neither of them are big enough to. They fight, and they're not even on the same team.
I'm happy for Gasly to get out of AlphaTauri. I think he needed to get out of the Red Bull system. That just wasn't ever going to work for him. So let's see what he does. But I know, the beret and baguette fights are going to be fantastic.
Oh,
but they already say that they hate each other. So like,
but now they said no, we're okay. No,
they did. They did not. Right. I mean,
their publicist said that.
Yeah.
When they're told to invert the cars, let's see how that goes.
Yeah, Christian Horner also said that, you know, Max and Sergio have worked it out, right? So it's all worked out, right?
Well, that's Horner.
That's different. But
yeah,
that's what I said. Same thing.
Horner's
boy.
Asshole.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be crazy. I know I said that that Nico Hulkenberg was signed. He is signed with Haas. I have found the article.
All right. So. Well, so I like on this page in this Motorsport magazine says that Antonio Giovinazzi was being considered, but he crashed the Haas on FP1. So if you were gonna get a ride, don't crash the car. Yeah, there's that. Nico Hulkenberg. I hope he does okay. I think he needs more time in a car. I don't know how you keep a super license and you just race every once in a while. So, like,
but this also means officially that Mick Schumacher is out.
Mm-hmm.
He'll land somewhere, no doubt. He's young enough. He's got the Schumacher name. He's decent driver. There's plenty of seats for him somewhere.
No, but he is actually they did say he is officially fired, but I think he's moving to Williams as a reserve right now.
I mean, he just never did what he needed to do. He just was never.
And he crashed a lot. I mean, but it didn't look as bad the first year because of his teammate. And he's like, well, Mick is not bad.
Right.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something that's not touched on here that I do think is interesting.
Go ahead, bring up anything.
I think in regards to how Red Bull has been getting along and some of these other teams that we were just talking about, the inevitable fights are going to happen between where'd he go? Well, not just between Stroll and Alonso, which is going to be hilarious, but Ocon and Gasly. On the flip side of that, I think Hamilton has done a great job of mentoring Russell and preparing Russell to take that number one seat and keep, this has not been their year, but keep Mercedes as a consistent threat to the Formula One.
Just
thing.
because Lewis is like the nicest guy. Even when they
And-
were talking, when Russell was talking, he thanked the factory. Like, oh no, he didn't wait. He didn't exactly thank the factory, but Chris and
He
I
didn't
were
do it as
saying
well. Yeah.
he was like,
That would have been the
"Thank-
second word out
wait
of
for
Lewis's
it.
mouth.
Wait for it."
Mhm,
Yeah. Oh, he did thank the fans, I think, but he didn't ask for he didn't thank the factory. But things like that, they're so Lewis. He's just like, say this. So yes,
And
he's
they're-
setting
and
him up
they're
for
also-
success.
And it's also very much a Toto Wolff thing. Hey, whoever's faster, run the car, get up there, get us a podium. And
Well,
not
most of
having
the
it-
year. Most of
Go.
the year, Lewis was doing the development stuff of leave the setup that's okay with George, but try the new stuff on Lewis and let's see what we can do.
So I think you are, unless somebody just makes Russell a great offer, I think you're going to see Russell. I did predict last year that Hamilton would retire, and I'm wrong on that one. But
Oh yeah, he's staying. You know how I know he still has the fire in his belly, and we're going to talk about Brazilian GP in just a moment. When Max got near him, all of a sudden it was on. It was on. They were like, not moving.
I've had about enough of
Fire's
your
still
shit,
there.
pal. That's
right.
Yeah.
That's right. The fire's still there. He's still awesome.
If it was Checo, I might have let him by.
That's right. That's right. I'm not giving you a freaking millimeter. Loved it.
I wouldn't be surprised if he stays like that until he's leaving, though. He's
Yeah.
just that good. Like he's just gonna keep doing that until he decides. And I agree with Chris, his sentiment on he's here because he likes to race, but he also has a platform here. So he's got people that will listen. He's got people that still like him, that he can push his agenda, which is not a negative thing here, but he has a place to talk. I guess if he's not winning, he doesn't talk as much, but
Oh, but it does say a lot for his character that he's not being, excessively pouty about it. And he does get the, when Chris does his Tom Brady imitation, bit on Verstappen. Oh, two. Is it easy to lift your hand with only 2 rings? Because I have to use both my hands for all of my championship rings. I'm out of space.
He still is the biggest personality, most loved driver. I mean, I think they made him king of Brazil last week. I'm not really sure.
Basically, yep.
Yeah.
Emperor.
Emperor, whatever.
And that's okay.
Conquistador, we love you. I don't know any Portuguese.
Yeah.
Good enough, I
So
guess.
Conquistador is what you pulled up. Okay.
And for those of us you might be interested, you don't know, we're also going to have the link that Jeff put in there with motorsportsmagazine.com, and it is a link to all the F1 drivers for the 2023 season.
Except it's not updated because it doesn't have.
It will update. It says it's live, and like ESPN just reported it like an hour ago.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they will update. All right. Anything else about drivers? Nobody's going to miss Latifi? Nobody going to be sad?
Who?
Nope. Somebody has to be last, but it doesn't. It shouldn't be the same guy every time. So let's just get rid of a couple of
Somebody has
people
to
at
be
the bottom.
last. I think it's going to be where did he go? I just had the kid.
One of the new guys.
No,
Piastri.
it's I think
Sargent.
Sonoda. I think Sonoda is totally going to be the guy that ends up being last.
If you had to put a guy in your car to win, to make money, Mazepin or Latifi?
This is a terrible game.
You don't.
Say-
You're not making money with either one.
Chrissy.
Well, I
my
mean,
choice is-
your
my choice is
sponsor
Chrissy.
logos are on the side.
I'm hiring Chrissy.
No, Chrissy does not have a super license.
Not yet.
Yeah.
With the money you would spend on replacing cars, could get Chrissy
The
a
car
super
parts.
Well,
license.
that's the idea. Like
The
Mazepin
entire
crashes,
Ricardo.
and Latifi is like, I think he was literally like 47 seconds behind the pack in Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
He's not even a race
Meilander
pace.
in the AMG was doing about that pace.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Not good. Well, like I said, somebody has to be last. So there's that.
I mean, I think actually Schumacher may have crashed more cars, but he at least had pace.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes.
I think Nico's
Nice.
going to be in the back a lot this year.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. I
I'm
agree.
not sure that was the best hire.
I think
but you also
Gunther was just tired of rookies. He just didn't. I think it was probably a breath of fresh air having K-Mag back after having daycare the previous year.
Yeah.
So
Also, is that where you're? Let's. Are we going on to this paragraph? K-Mag gets pole.
Sure. Everything happened in Sao Paulo. K-Mag scored a pole, but then he didn't start in the front row for the Grand Prix. George won his first race. Woo! K-Mag got knocked out by Daniel on the first lap. Max and Lewis have magnets in their cars and turned on their aggro right at the right time. Charles whined to get on the podium, and Max decided to become the most hated man in F1 by not letting Checo pass him for 7th place. After he let Max by, because Checo let Max by because Checo was actually leading for a while, and then he
Not
also
leading,
helped
but
him.
a
Yeah, you
place
know what I mean.
ahead.
Had the place, yeah, and then he also helped him win 2 world championships, I think. So. Yeah, Max, what's your
And more people
problem?
have complimented Checo. What did he? I think it was.
It's called him a legend. Checo's a legend.
Checo's a legend. Yeah.
That you can buy that shirt on his website, and now he's like, I said what I said. We'll talk about it.
Okay, so real quick,
I don't want to do that. I'm a winner.
So it wasn't even that. It was F him. I'm in control.
So we watched the race on Monday,
on.
a little bit late. And so I tried not to realize what happened on social media.
You couldn't
except-
miss it.
But that's what I said to Chris. It's the only thing I know. I don't know why, but everybody hates Verstappen now. Everyone. And so there's memes everywhere. And I was like, I don't know. So we were watching the race and like, okay, he's in the middle. It's not like he wins. And I was like, okay, you have to wait till the last second of the video to find out of why people hate him. Sorry. I just had to
And genuinely, thank goodness that Brazil came after Mexico, because
he would be dead.
Central and South Americans have murdered goalies.
Oh, without a
failing
doubt.
to do so. Yeah, he would have.
They would have rushed and they would have been like, if it's all of us, it'd be okay.
He would have had to sit out the Mexican Grand Prix. He would have been like, or if it had happened at the Mexico Grand Prix, they would have had to like put him on a chopper and fly him away immediately. Yeah.
Max, do you feel safe at home?
No.
Clearly not.
Clearly.
Max, go stay at Chris and Chrissy's. Your dad can't beat you there. They have an attack cat.
Seriously, I unless we find out that Checo slept with that girlfriend or whatever the hell she is, unexcusable. I'm not a fan anymore.
You're not a fan anymore?
I don't like Max anymore.
What?
Period.
I know. He's going to have to get a new hat.
I'm going to have to get a new hat.
You have to get a Checo hat.
I will get a Checo hat because I still kind of like Red Bull. Like I said,
Wow.
unless something comes out, because do we all know the rumors? Can I go over the rumors just in case?
Go for it. Jack.
So it seems that this comes from the where the hell is that place? The one in the town,
place.
the Grand Duchy.
Place in the town. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't even know what you're getting at. We need
the
words.
race in the south of France. That's not in France.
You mean Monaco?
Monaco, thank you.
Yeah.
In Monaco qualify. So supposedly, this is the rumors that I'm hearing a lot of people talk about, just not Max's dad. There was some sort of wild weekend where Checo got out of line and like had to apologize to his wife. And then we all know that in qualifying, Checo had the pole and then crashed at the end of Q3, which stopped Max from getting the pole. And this is when Max was not currently dominating the field and was really in a fight with Charles. And
Checo.
No. It was
with Leclerc. He
with
was- he
with
was
Leclerc.
in-
I'm sorry, with
yeah,
Leclerc.
early
I
in the
don't know
season
this.
when Leclerc was
Early
still
in the
a
season,
threat.
yeah. So
Okay.
that's what happened in Q3. He Checo crashed and closed Q3 while Max was about to get the pole. So supposedly this all goes back to that. Like everybody in, Max's dad and all the media, they're saying that Checo actually admitted to crashing on purpose to Red Bull officials, and everybody knows it inside Red Bull. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
get super mad at Jeff
You're
because he
still
came
a
in
dick.
when I told him not to pit.
I mean-
because those wires in the hood are not ours.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes.
Like I said, you still let him buy. You still let him buy because he won you 2 national championships.
I'll say, or just Verstappen thinks that because he thinks everyone hates him, and he just assumes that any action done is against him personally because he falls for the optical illusion of thinking that the world revolves around him.
I don't know. I have a hard time
I
with that
believe
one.
you're right, Mental.
Well, in his orbit, the world mostly does. So
True. And yeah, I don't think Sergio would have slept with Perez's girlfriend because his wife is way hotter.
Like I said, what I heard was he had a wild weekend and literally had to apologize to his wife for how wild he got. So what?
That
has nothing to do with anything.
Friday.
I see the lines you're drawing, and we're not.
I'm not
following
there.
you.
I'm not there.
No one's going to follow you there.
Nope.
Don't care.
Nope.
Don't care.
I agree.
You still let Sergio pass you.
Because
After-
you're supposed to do it for the team. You
And
want
yeah,
to
it was
help the
team
team.
orders. It wasn't
they
like
said it when Sergio was going to let him pass. Say, okay, we're going to invert the cars now, but if you're close at the end,
we're going to need to put you back. That's right. Absolutely.
'Cause that way we can take 1 and 2. Yay! Christian Horner gets to keep his job. So,
and I'm not saying there aren't villains in F1s who are also heroes. Schumacher, Lauda, even Senna was a villain for a time. This is beyond unexcusable.
Mm-hmm. Even Lewis had his hothead younger years a bit, but never like this.
The redeeming factor that Max had was Checo's a legend.
Yeah.
And I love my family and I love my Red Bull, and you know what I mean? Almost shows emotion.
Yeah. Well, all right. So we're beating this dead horse. What's our next?
Well, I mean, we could talk about the rest of the race because a lot of other things happened. Hello, Chrissy. I think your friend George won a race.
my friend George. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that
That's
exciting?
great. It's a great. He's so happy.
He was amazingly happy. Like his face, it was his dream.
Once we get to 2/3 of the race and he's still leading and doing well, it's like, man, Jeff has a 6-foot boner with a cheeseburger on top right now.
Oh, no.
Right?
George.
George.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Jeff.
Absolutely. I'm like,
Sorry.
But we don't judge Jeff either. So
No,
it's completely
no.
Well, that
possible.
was Jeff's line. That's why I
Yes,
thought
right.
because he came up with that line.
Yes. So happy.
So happy. K-Mag, I feel so bad for you, dude.
Oh,
like
everybody does. Right.
Yeah.
You were doing so well that you got crashed into.
I mean, he got lucky. So there's that. He had the right tires. He went on the right laps, and then all of a sudden it started to rain. So he's just like, they said, "Oh, you just took it." And he's like, "Don't stop. Shh, don't say it because there's still time left." And nobody could beat him. So that was like a perfect storm. How
In
he
a
won.
Terrible car.
Yes.
He stayed competitive.
I am
through
not
Q1,
saying-
Q2, and Q3.
Right. Yes. But it was
Did he
kind of
deserve
magic.
pole? No, but it's magic. Yeah.
It was
exactly.
magic where,
Sometimes that's how racing goes.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's
Sometimes the
great.
other car's wheel falls off in turn 13. Like
That's right.
You never know.
Yeah. And it's magic. Magic is okay. That can happen. But yeah, I figured it's good. Good for him is what the answer is. That was just being in reality. Yeah.
Awesome.
So it was an okay race.
Cool.
I mean, it was fine.
There was enough movement. There was enough things going on. That was fine.
Yeah.
Max also definitely took Lewis out in that corner, though. Like, no doubt. If he wanted, it just turned right into him.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree, but that's okay.
Well, after the hit, he just kept going all the way wide. All the way wide.
Mhm.
All the way.
I'll review that film later.
I was like,
But I
is
don't
And
this-
you'll arrive at the
Where's-
same
I watched it.
conclusion as literally the rest of the world.
No, a lot of people I'm hearing are saying racing incident, or it should have been Hamilton's penalty.
Hamilton was ahead. That was the whole thing. You're ahead coming into the corner. It's your corner. And then if it was really racing incident, you don't keep pushing the other person all the way off the track. on your
That's a
side.
thing. He
That's the
tracked all the
difference.
way out. He kept going in that corner.
Yeah.
He pushed him more.
You do not need to track out if you have a little bump racing incident. You gather yourself up, you're on your track, and you keep going. You do not track out.
I don't agree.
Yes, but the happened on the inside of the turn.
As they were tracking out. I mean, like, you don't need to track out all that way. You didn't. Especially if you just slowed down. Yeah. Go watch the video again.
I
And then-
watched it several times
Good.
because I kept rewinding. So anyway,
Fantastic.
Okay.
All right.
So it
I
was a
think we're
fine
done with
race.
this
It was
one.
fine.
It's fine.
It was
It was fine. Then we go to Abu Dhabi. It's boring.
yeah,
I
there's
just don't
nothing's
like-
gonna.
City circuits are boring usually.
Yeah.
They just are. Like,
Well, Abu Dhabi's not a city circuit. That's a dedicated course.
oh, okay. Well, it's kind of like a city circuit.
It
Like,
isn't it a
Doesn't have
motorcycle
water
course?
runoff.
That's a famous
it's an
motorcycle.
it's an everything.
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
They built that
Yeah.
track, that island was constructed to be a Formula One track.
Isn't this is the race upcoming that last year had the drama between
No,
Max
and- narrow it
no,
down.
he's not right. He's not right. No, no.
Yeah. This is the
Yes.
last race of the season.
Yes.
the one
Michael
that I
Massey.
was like,
By the way, we didn't say this. Fired Michael Massey, so they've been great and consistent in the rules now. They followed them the whole.
I mean,
Yeah.
They didn't.
Okay.
No. I almost want to apologize for everything we thought bad about you, Massey. Almost.
hopefully he's doing something less stressful.
He still works for the FIA. He's just not
Oh.
race director anymore.
Okay, that's probably better.
So
He doesn't
anyway,
have to
does
do-
anyone want to say anything else? Are we wrapping it up? Do we have any thoughts on how the season is going to end? I mean, there's still a decision between.
I would like to predict this
ahead.
one. That I am 90% certain Verstappen is going to be the drivers' champion.
Yeah, good thought. Good thought. How about number 2? Does anybody want to pick a Charles versus Checo?
Hey, and it's actually not impossible for George. If Charles and Checo both crash
really?
and George wins, he could still be second.
Yep.
Let me look at these
It's
points.
unlikely, but
What
possible.
would be
Wow.
interesting is if it gets into another situation where it requires Verstappen to get out of the way to give Checo a chance. If he decides he's going to do it, or I have my reasons and I told you these reasons stunt again.
Yeah. So George is 25 points behind Charles and Sergio, 290 to 265. So that would need, because you'd only get 20 for the win, right? So they would need
26 for the win, I think.
26 for the win. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Possible, unlikely.
And Russell has demonstrated he has what it takes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, I gotta go for Checo, try to get this because I feel like he's been slighted now.
Oh,
want him
I
to get it
totally
back.
want it to be Checo.
Yep. But I would like Merck to get up to P2 overall.
I think they can do that too, right? How many points are they behind? 505 to 524. So
It's gonna be tough.
19 points, right? 19. Yeah, 19. Do my
But
math in
still,
my
that
head.
means, but it would be tougher if it weren't Ferrari, and they'll do Ferrari things, and
We'll do Ferrari things.
right, someone will come in like third, and the other person will
God,
blow a motor.
would it be amazing if Charles wins and they get second? And that would be amazing. Well,
Right.
or not Charles,
for
excuse
them.
me. George. If George won, got second, and put Mercedes second,
Who knows?
Sure,
that would be
be a
awesome.
great story.
God, maybe I'll
Yep.
be a Mercedes fan this week.
I am a Mercedes fan, and I'm still pulling for Checo. So
There you go. Yeah.
moving on.
Moving on. What else do we want to talk about? Or are we ready?
Next
we're good.
segment. Moving on.
Okay, we're doing just the tip. Chris is doing just the tip this week.
Ooh.
I am.
A guest
Yes.
tip.
Great. Okay. I did. What am I talking about? All right. Let's.
The notes.
I'm seeing that right now. I'm trying to know where this. So I think this is a great way to know when you're on the cusp of winter weather. Like we drove home from the airport the other night. It was 37 degrees and raining. And we don't have the snow tires on yet. We have some Continental, DWSs on, which are fine, but not Viking contacts.
So that's exactly what I run. What's your problem? I get great grip with my Continentals.
Yeah.
Because it snows how often? Never mind.
Yep.
I know it's not applicable to you.
But this is just a nice trick to know. It's very simple. As you're following other cars, watch their tires. Watch the track on the road. If you see a track behind their tire, it's still wet. If you start to not see a track behind their tire, that's because it might be ice. Be very careful. It's a simple thing that goes so far. And you can listen to the sound too of your own tires. Do you hear the water being thrown around anymore or not? Wet or ice?
Thank you.
Careful.
Mm-hmm. It's a good
That's
thing.
excellent.
Because we're coming into the time where you might need to check. And it's probably best just not just slam on your brakes or wait for other people to spin out. You can have some actual knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Okay.
That's awesome.
That's it.
How does your car know? Like it's like ice might be possible.
Because the temperature goes down. That's how.
And I have a temperature gauge in the car that says how
Because
cold
it's
it
a
is outside.
Because it's a Mercedes and it's very smart.
Well,
It was supposed to be more philosophical question than technical question, but thanks all for.
Although the old our old Yukon had the 2003 technology. The thermometer was on the rear view mirror for no reason. We've all had them, right? When it got to the 30s, it would just say ice. And it's like, you know what? How about you tell me the actual temperature and I can decide if it's ice or not? That would be nice.
Because
snow
might
flag,
Oh, so it removed the temperature and just said ice.
Said ice.
Like
Snowflake has the same setup, but it never said ice.
Yeah. Okay. It said ice.
because it was never going to
Thank
be
you.
an ice
I would
where
like
you
to
where
know. Right. Anyway.
I
Yep.
bought it in Nebraska.
Okay.
But it would say -9. Yeah.
yeah, right. And it might not be icy.
Anyway, do we know what we're doing next week?
Yes, we do. Yes, it is our thankful episode. We want to hear from you. So what happened this year that you're most thankful for? Drop us a line, any of our socials, email or text, or any way you know how to find us.
Excellent day. I love when we have a plan and we stick to it. My phone keeps restarting for some reason and can't find the music, so I'm just going to go without music. Thank you for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you liked us, go to the podcast, subscribe, talk to us in the doodly-doo, do whatever you want to do. Tell us what's going on in your house, what you're thankful for, what your F1 favorite moment of the season was. How would you smack Max around to make him listen? All those kinds of things can be sent to a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text mental. Wow. You can still text mental 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram or Twitter, everyone.racers, YouTube, Facebook, Everyone Racers, Reddit /E1R. We are everywhere. Mental is showing pictures of some rusty junk. Oh, a little Mercedes.
Yeah, junk people sent them. That's great.
Yeah,
Junk
that's
pics.
great.
That's
So
up in the
thank-
Breaking Bad guys.
Oh, excellent. So thank you for listening to us. And until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless there is no shiny side, then just keep those wheels down.